Good morning, dear ones. Lisa A. Romano here, the Breakthrough Life Coach, and it's about 3:30 in the morning here, and it's my it's my coffee video. It's the videos that I like to consider that are very impromptu, that are inspired by one of your emails. And this morning, I got an email from a young woman from Russia who is married to a very passive-aggressive man who had a very difficult childhood, who has a child of her own, and she's very concerned that she will pass on the codependency that she developed as an adult due to living with very abrasive narcissistic parents. And her question really hit home because so many of you, like so many of you, write me because you're concerned that you've woken up and you realize that, now I have these children, and I'm so concerned that I'm going to pass my dis-ease. And codependency is a dis-ease, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not. It's a dis-ease of spirit. And just remember, dear ones, that your brain goes where your thoughts go, and your thoughts, in my opinion, are intertwined in a mesh with your feelings. So if you felt unloved as a little girl, a little boy, you were not objective, you were subjective. So when you feel unloved, you think you are unlovable. Okay? And when you feel like you're unlovable, the brain has to make up a story to match that. And the only story that makes sense to the brain, it's called backwards justification or backwards justification or backwards rationalization. The brain has to come up with the story to match the feeling. So if I'm feeling unlovable, the brain says, because I am unlovable. Because I have, like when I was a little girl, I thought it was because I had green eyes, and there was nobody in my family that had green eyes. So I thought it must be me. I remember being 7 and looking into my mother's bedroom mirror and wondering, do we see the same colors as people? Like, I look at a tree, does my mother see a tree the same way I do? Does she see brown the same way as I do? That's how off I felt, because my realities just did not match the realities of the people around me. So feeling that awkward in my own skin and so detached from my family made me feel unloved and disconnected from my family. So my brain was searching for a reason for that feeling. That's how sophisticated the brain is. The brain is a congruent tool. It is designed to make sure that your thoughts are congruent, because otherwise your brain would argue against itself and we would have a schizophrenic situation. So our job is to come here and heal the subconscious mind, people. We have to heal the stuff from the past. So when people say, oh, it happened a long time ago, don't worry about it, they don't know what they're talking about. You have to worry about what happened a long time ago so that you can heal it. And when you heal the subconscious mind, then you can heal the conscious mind, the subconscious mind become one. No more cognitive dissonance, no more feeling like you don't have a right to set a boundary. You know that you're worthy. And so when you go into a therapist's office and they say to you, you have to set boundaries with him. If that therapist doesn't understand that you can't set boundaries because you don't feel worthy of setting a boundary, or you can't set a boundary unless you know how you feel. And if you've been raised to feel like your feelings don't matter, you can't set a boundary. And this is the kind of information that I'm teaching in my Breakthrough Coaching program. You have to know how to set a boundary. You have to know why it's impossible for you to set a boundary. And without that information, the brain cannot organize itself to create a dynamic in which you're able to protect yourself. It just can't. And so we have to respect the brain. We have to respect the brain. You have to know how the brain works. And it's sort of like, trying to work your iPhone, right? You're trying to work your iPhone, but you don't know how to work it. Everyone, you walk up to anyone and they'll say to you, oh, well, you have to do it this way. And everybody, then all of a sudden the person out here, right? So imagine this is my conscious mind and my cell phone is my subconscious mind. So it is completely logical for someone to say to me, Lisa, my kids tell me all the time because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my phone. I had it for so long and I still struggle with it. But they understand the subconscious mind. The phone is a subconscious mind. Imagine, just play with me. Remember, the brain likes metaphors. So So if you imagine that your subconscious mind is like a cell phone, a sophisticated cell phone, and you, the conscious mind, has to learn how to work it. So that's the way we have to approach healing and recovery. So someone walking into a therapist's office and have a therapist say to you, you go in there and you say, listen, I'm a codependent. I grew up with a narcissistic mother, an alcoholic father who was codependent and checked out of the relationship. Then you were abandoned by both mother and father. You were abandoned by omission and commission. And now you're an adult and you're codependent. You've attracted a narcissistic man into your life who's passive aggressive. That's how he plays with you. That's how he messes with your mind, because he can't be intimate. He wants you in his life, but he's not going to let himself feel vulnerable around you because he's got his own issues. Okay. And you go into a therapist's office and she says, or he says, well, you just have to start setting boundaries. That's like someone handing you a sophisticated cell phone without instructions. Go ahead, go figure it out. Good. And you've never seen a cell phone before. It's like coming from some country that doesn't even know that cell phones exist and saying, okay, unlock this phone. Go ahead. I want you to unlock this phone. So without understanding what the brain needs in order to be able to set a boundary, that advice is useless. So getting back to this wonderful young woman who wrote me this morning, who touched my heart, and she touched my heart because she said there isn't enough information out there about how to deal with passive-aggressive men or women or whatever. My mom was very passive-aggressive. Oh, you're wearing that? Did you look in the mirror? Are you going to school like that? Did you brush your hair? Are you sure you want to wear that? Are you sure you want to eat that? I wonder what she thinks. I wonder what he thought when you said that. Oh, I wish I had the luxury of getting a manicure. I lived with that. Boom, 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 boom. Making me question. I'm not kidding. The first manicure I ever got was like 2 days before my first wedding. Then I didn't get a manicure for years. I didn't have my first pedicure until I was in my 40s. I'm not kidding. Because the downloaded information in my subconscious mind was, that's selfish. Somehow my mother infused me with the idea, with her passive aggressiveness, which is brainwashing and gaslighting, infused me with the idea that if I ever dared to take care of myself, I was selfish. And below that, I was unworthy. And below that, I was ashamed of being me. So there are all these spiders, just like that's the way the internet works. Some things on the internet, and all these spiders try to connect it, all these little tentacles or legs try to connect all this information. So that's the way the subconscious mind works. It's a network of these spindles and fibers. And we have to figure them out if we're going to get out. Thank God I have. And I'm teaching you how to do that, dear ones, because I love you. And I believe that we all have the light within us. And like I wrote today in another email, the idea is to understand that we're all the light. The light is within us. And when we start pulling our energy away from passive-aggressive people, narcissistic people, condemning people, critical people, negative news stories on television, when we start pulling that back, pulling our focus back, pulling our energetic focus back, the light within us begins to expand. Our wattage increases, which is awesome. I did a meditation yesterday for like an hour. I'm not kidding. And when I when I sat up and I looked I did the meditation in my daughter's room because it's very quiet. And when I looked in the mirror, my face was glowing. I was like, oh, and I know what that is because I tapped into the light within me. I pulled my attention away from everything in the world that's conflicting, that's confusing, and I just tapped into my essence. And we will all return to that essence when we cross over. There is no such thing as death. This is the university of duality. We come here to merge the duality between the subconscious and the conscious mind. And everything else is just a cover story. And if you're attracted to my work, that's because you hear a calling. Like, you know that there's more to what we're just seeing and what we are witnessing in our life. And your goal is not to try to convince the people in your life that this is your cover story, and that there's more to it than that. Your job is to just tap into your light. Now, when you're dealing with passive-aggressive people, what you need to remember is that when they withdraw from you, they're punishing you. And they're punishing you because they're not comfortable with having equal relationships. They need to be one-up. They call it one-up. So someone who's passive-aggressive wants to be one-up on you. That's the way they maintain power and control in their mind, because below the surface they feel powerless. Now, the problem is that if you're dealing with someone who refuses to go to that space, who's passive aggressive, you can't help him, because his defense will be, that's not my problem, I'm not passive aggressive. If he is not willing to go into that space, get in touch with that wound that created the need to be passive aggressive. And in my opinion, a passive aggressive person is afraid to be vulnerable for whatever their childhood wound is. My ex-husband was extremely passive aggressive. It was just horrible, just so horrible. That's the way he punished me. If I didn't read his mind, I got punished. If I wasn't home when he wanted me to be home, I got punished. If I went to the gym, I got punished. If I asked for something or said, wait a minute, you said you were going to mow the lawn today, I got punished. If I reminded him of something that he said he was going to do, I got punished. It could be slamming the cabinets. It could be just ignoring me. It could be slamming his keys on the counter. It could be a dirty look or a dirty glare. And then when I would say, are you upset? Of course, no, I'm not upset. What makes you think I'm upset, Lisa? If you're upset, that's fine, but I'm not upset. Look at me, I'm so happy. Just a complete mind fuck. That's what it was. That's what passive aggressiveness is. So you, dear one, if you know what you're dealing with, know what you're dealing with. Know that you're dealing with a passive aggressive personality issue, and know that it's not your job to fix it. It's their job to fix it. Now, if you're living with a passive aggressive person, holy crap, my heart goes out to you, because I did that for 13 years and I was a mess. So, and he refused to see it, which is what makes him a narcissist. He was a nice narcissist, because on the surface, everyone loved him. But you couldn't disagree with him, and you couldn't ask him to see your point of view. Ever. He was perfect. So I would say the question is really, how do I deal with passive aggressiveness? Yes, your therapist is right when she says, or he says, set up a boundary, but you have to understand that you have to work on your codependency issues. That is the key. You have to pull your focus back from trying to get him to open up, and pull your attention into why you need him to open up. You've got to pull your attention into yourself and understand that he, for whatever reason, has incarnated on this planet with this issue. Remember, he is on the path of figuring out the duality of his own mind. That is not your job to fix and figure out. Your job is to see your own duality. Why do I need him to approve of me? Why am I seeking his validation? How can I not seek his validation anymore? How can I become more in alignment with him being passive aggressive? How can I pull my focus away from him while he's ignoring me, and teach him that that's not acceptable? So what I suggest that you do is that, one of my favorite mantras is, hold on to myself, hold on to myself, hold on to myself. Because when you're codependent, when someone's ignoring you and they're being passive aggressive, you want to fix it. You want to enmesh with them and connect to them, because their passive aggressiveness is threatening your attachment trauma. Remember, if you suffer from attachment trauma, you want to attach. Even to dysfunctional people, you need to attach. So again, in my coaching program, I deal with this attachment trauma where you have to see it for what it is. So when you are trying to attach to someone that's dysfunctional, they have triggered your attachment disorder. I'm not enough. And so you have to focus on that area of your life. So you have to focus on, I am enough. But I know I'm enough. I know I'm enough. You've got to heal the subconscious programming that has you believing that you're not enough, and create new beliefs so that when he walks in the door and for whatever reason, I don't know, you're wearing pink opposed to yellow, I don't know, and he gets upset and he's just giving you dirty looks, and he wants you to figure it out, like, why am I mad at her? Why is he mad at me? He literally passive aggressive people are trying to manipulate your headspace. They want to see you worry about what you think about them, or what they want you to worry about, what they think about you. That's the hook. That's what codependents do. They worry about what other people think about them. Does he like me? Is he angry at me? How can I fix this? How can I make it better? That's where you have to jump into that abyss like a light worker hero with this huge sword, and say, I'm not doing that anymore. And just imagine cutting those cords like, whoosh, whoosh, it sounds silly, but again, the brain needs metaphors. And so when I was on this healing journey, and where this young woman was, and my ex-husband walked into the house, And I could see that he was playing that game like, whatever, just the face, whatever, slam the cabinets, just not answering me questions or giving me this, grunting for answers. What is that? I deserve that? I don't think so. And neither do you. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that. And so when I was beginning to understand it was my codependency that was trying to engage him, I was like, okay, hold on to yourself, hold on to yourself, hold on to yourself. Don't throw any spindles at him. Don't try to attach. Because when you attach, you reinforce that dynamic, dear one. So my best advice to any of you out there that are suffering with codependency and the dis-ease of attachment trauma, which is causing you to want to bond with someone who is pushing you away, because you're recycling your childhood program. Mom pushed you away, attachment trauma. Now you've attracted someone into your life who mimics that vibration, and now you want to attach to that person. Of course it makes sense. You're not crazy. That's what the brain thinks it should be doing. But that is an unpoliced brain. That is an unchecked brain. That is a subconscious mind that is asleep. Or actually, it's a conscious mind that's asleep to what's happening in the subconscious mind. Everything that you're experiencing consciously is because of what's going on subconsciously. And so when people say, oh, that happened in the past, they don't know what they're talking about. You better figure out what happened in the past, because that's the rudder, okay? That's what's motivating your current belief systems, your actions, your behaviors. That's what's running it. So it's all about figuring out what happened in the past. Don't let anybody steer you wrong. So dealing with passive aggressive people, you have to deal with your codependency, your dis-ease, your attachment trauma. Focus on you. When you are doing this work, when a passive aggressive person comes into your experience and you know that you have codependency and it's making you feel uncomfortable, that's where your work has to begin, in that moment. Well, actually, you always have to work at it's like being an alcoholic. Like being a codependent, you always have to monitor your own internal experiences. You've got to become a master of your vibrations, a master of your emotions. What are my vibrations telling me right now? I could actually feel when my ex-husband walked in the room, I actually felt this, I was like a push on my chest. And every bell and whistle from my childhood got activated, like attach, be okay, get his validation, make sure he's okay, make him smile, make him happy. Because what I was seeking was, please tell me I'm good enough. Because I didn't want to face I am not good enough. But you have to go into that pain. You have to experience and integrate with the pain that's there that comes from I am not enough. Of course you're enough, dear one, but you have to be able to get in touch with the pain that was created in childhood that teaches you that you are not enough. Okay, so that's very important. So when they walk into your experience, focus on the self. Do not reinforce the dynamic. So if he's ignoring you, you have to say, let go and love and light. I let go and love and light. I let go and love. Okay, he's ignoring me. This is his journey, and I'm going to teach him that that's not okay, and that I deserve better, and that even he doesn't have to be that way. So I'm going to be okay that he's ignoring me, and I'm going to not engage, not talk back. He's got a puss on his face. I'm just going to let him have a puss on his face. I'm going to leave him and his vibration in the kitchen, and I'm going to go color with the kids, or I'm going to go outside and kick a ball around with the kids, or I'm taking the kids out for a walk, or I'm going to go fly a kite with the kids, or whatever, go catch a frog. I don't know, go ride a horse wherever the hell you live. I don't know. In Queens, we weren't catching frogs, but there was a nice place under the bridge where I could go take my kids and fly a kite, and that's what I used to do. Okay, we're out of here. So you want to pull when you're being ignored by someone, you want to extract your energy, because when you do, you're cutting the psychic cords to that dysfunctional relationship. And what will happen is this: when you start to ignore him, this is what's going to happen, because it's the codependent dance. So you are, as the pursuer, you're pursuing him, but he keeps pulling away. Now, very interesting. When you say, okay, I'm going to let go and love and light, and you pull away some energy, what happens is the person that is ignoring you comes after you. He wants your energy. He wants it. What you have to do is refuse to, when he starts to come after you, you've got to still hold on to yourself. You've got to say, I'm not playing this game. Now, you can acknowledge him when he starts to acknowledge you. You can reinforce positively, like, oh, just start talking to him again, like nothing happened. Okay, no worries. And then you've got to be a very smart cookie. Now, when he starts to pull away again, guess what? You can't do this anymore. You've got to stay here. So when he starts to pull away again, he's going to notice that there's a larger energetic space between you again. And guess what? He's going to come after you again. He's going to want to start engaging with you again. If he's abrasive, you stay here. If he's abrasive, you pull away a little bit more. If he's kind, you can give in a little bit. But if he starts pulling away, you pull away again. You have to learn how to control your vibration. If it gets to a point where you don't see a change in whether you're a man or a female, if you don't see a change in this passive-aggressive relationship, I don't see how it could work. Because if you have to stay in a state in your marriage where you are constantly monitoring the emotions of the other person, it's very difficult to hold on to yourself and become this bright burning light person, light worker, or highly light body activated human being. Very difficult. But again, this is your choice and this is your journey. I really hope that this video, I didn't expect it to go so long, but I tend to be long-winded when I get on a roll, because one thing just connects into another thing. So I hope this video has helped some of you who are dealing with passive-aggressive spouses. I know the pain of that, dear ones. Again, April 6th and April 13th, I'm having free webinars to introduce my breakthrough coaching program. It's taken me a very long time to get here. Over 200 moving parts. And most of them were technical, which I have absolutely, believe it or not, dear ones, I don't know how I've gotten as far as I've gotten. It's just tenacity. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not kidding. But somehow this has all come together. And thank you for being so patient. I'm so sorry about the mix-ups that I've had. So April 6th and April 13th, they will be live webinars at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You should have started receiving your auto-responded emails and newsletters about this. And on the webinar, I basically would be introducing how and why this breakthrough coaching program is going to absolutely change your life. Finally, you're going to learn how to heal, dear one. And my next book is out soon. It's called Codependent. Now what? It's not you, it's your programming, which I'm really excited about. And that is also very practical steps on how to heal the codependent mind. So dear ones, I bow to the love and the light, and you namaste. Bye.